My name is Irene Cook and I cordially welcome you to my podcast, Neu Musik Leben. I have studied classical singing and nowadays I sing lots of contemporary music, do performance and do music theater. And if you would like to know more about me, please look at my website www.irenekjorka.de and I will put this into the show notes for you. I also cordially welcome you to subscribe to my monthly newsletter. In this podcast, I talk about all the human beings who are somewhat related to the field of contemporary music. I share with you the behind the scenes, the insider knowledge, and as I just mentioned, this is a way how I can bring you the human beings out of this world closer to you. I'm cooperating with the NMZ, the Neue Musikzeitung. And I hope that you got really well into this new year. And those transitions are always exciting because they really invite. And I mean, there is also this tradition that you can get clear what you want to experience this year, what you maybe have let go, and what you're aiming for. And so I wish you a happy new year. In this episode, I talk with the composer Diana Rotaru. She's from Romania, and I really enjoyed the talk with her. And I think I mentioned this in another podcast episode because I already have interviewed for you Gabriel Manonchoiu, and there will be also an interview with Christian Benzemuk. And I have been to Romania, to Timișoara, in the end of October, and I was singing a concert there at the festival, and I really enjoyed that. I'm so excited now to talk in this episode with Diana Rotaru. Hello and good morning to you, Diana Rotaru. I welcome you into my podcast today.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me.
Great. And you're right now in Romania, or where are you at right now?
I am right now at home in Bucharest at my work desk.
Cool. I would like to know from you, how did you find your way into this world of the new experimental avant-garde music?
Well, I have a bit of a special situation that I'm very grateful, in which my mother is Diana Rotaru. We have very similar names, and she's also a composer. And practically, I got into this world because I fell in love with her music. And I was fascinated by the fact that she had great freedom, also, of course, in her music, but like actual freedom, because it was the 80s, it was a communist regime in Romania, it was before the revolution. And she was able to be inviting, for example, to the Darmstadt festival and workshop, and to get out. And it felt something really magical and powerful. It was like, for a small child, it was like being a wizard, and who could do some things that the others could not do. And then, of course, after this very pragmatic reason, I absolutely fell in love with her music. And I remember I was very young, and it was weird in a very good way. So it was not conventional, traditional music. I also remember from my very early childhood, I always had a special affinity for musics that were a bit not like the others. And I guess that contributed, and that maybe I think it's in my DNA. And then she showed me a lot of types of music, and I fell in love with all the great composers from the 20th century. And then I said, okay, no more piano for me. I want to compose. And once this virus got into me, I could not escape it. And it was, and it is a very magical trip. I'm very grateful. I cannot now imagine how my life would be if I would not be into the new contemporary, or however you want to call it, music. So I'm very, very grateful for my mother, Doina, for this.
Oh, that's very touching, and also that you could take it, because I imagine that sometimes parents or a parent has a certain talent, but sometimes children also go against it, or discover it much later, that they have maybe the same talent, but at first, no, I have to be different or something. And that's really cool that yeah, that it worked out in such a nice way.
Yeah, it just it worked. I think maybe her DNA was stronger because the other members of my family, my father is an engineer. He's not at all into new music. And all the other members have nothing to do with music, and in particular with this contemporary music world, let's say avant-garde or experimental, or if we can still use these terms because it's a different situation now. But I guess my mother's DNA was the strongest, and she got to me.
And what represents good new music for you?
This is a very interesting question. Maybe it would be easier to tell you what represents bad contemporary music, but I'm going to try both, maybe. I think that right now we have a lot of freedom. I think we are freed from the type of purist systems that were in the 60s, in the 70s. This kind of you must write like this, you must write avant-garde, you must be modern, or maybe the other way, you must write melodic music, you must write keep the tradition open. I think we are now free to write whatever we want, which makes it maybe difficult to um, say that something is of value or not. But I think I can only speak for myself. I think you can say objectively, all of us, we can say objectively if music is good or not. And I think this has something to do with the inner logic of a music that is very, very hard to verbalize, to explain, even to my students sometimes. Like, this doesn't work. I can't tell you why, but this doesn't work. So I'm going to try to answer freshness of language, freshness of ideas, soul. And I don't mean that the music must have, oh my God, lots of emotion, because that music can be amazing, and very cold maybe type of music can be as amazing as well. But you can feel the soul of the music if it's there, if the intention is there, if there's a strong idea, even if it's, I don't know, intellectual or very emotional, or ideally both, let's say. And I'm going to quote a good friend of mine who's a Romanian composer, whose name is Gabriel Almashi. And he says something that I absolutely love. He says, you feel when a music is lived in. And you really feel this, even if it's super avant-garde or maybe even more traditional, but you feel this and you cannot explain it, but it has to do, I think, with the sincerity and with the authenticity that you, the composer, create that music. No, and you don't just, I want to follow this form, or I want to follow this algorithm, and I want to make experiments, and I don't care about the audience, maybe. So I think the soul and the freshness, for me, there are so many composers today, and there's so much music being created. And maybe you agree with me that a lot of concerts start to feel the same at some point. And then you hear a piece that just from the first note, from the first color, is just pulls you in, and you are completely immersed in that. And you say, oh my God, I need to hear this until the end. I'm so glad that I have the opportunity, to hear this. So I think this is very important. I think this has to do also with the courage of the composer to try to find new things, to try to find a new instrumental combination. even if he's very, let's say, more traditional and he doesn't care about, I don't know, extended techniques or something, but still you can try to find something that is your own. And you feel this, the audience feels this, even if they are not specialists, even if they are just normal people or normal music lovers. So yes, and the music that I don't like is sterile. I think that's a word in English. Sterile, soulless, either too completely broken from the audience. I don't mean, when I say audience, I don't mean general public, because that's not the very complex or good music was never for the great audience. It was always for a smaller part of the audience. But you have to imagine that there is a person in front of you and you want to communicate something to them. And if you don't, that's a big problem. And also, if you choose to write for the great audience and just let me pick the most accessible thing ever and let me stick with what they know and what I assume they like, that's also a huge problem, because that's not creation. That's just commercialism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great answer, and it really touches me because I feel so much the same. And I mean, I know that you're also teaching composition, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel now about this? I mean, with all you just have described, I mean, how can you give this or transfer it to your students?
I try. I don't succeed always, but I try. First of all, I think they must feel the passion, or I don't know, I hope that they feel it. And I kind of joke around that what I try to do with my students is to make them weird, to make them weirder, or to try to convince them to go on different paths and to find something crazy. Even if they try and they fail, it's still better than just to stick, with homework. I'm going to write this music and it's going to be very nice and I'm going to stick with the rules. You should not stick with the rules. I think you should know the rules. You should know them very well, and then you should break them. And I think also, when young people, I think, should be very courageous. For example, in Romania, it's not always like this. We have a lot of hyper traditional young students who are interested in maybe doing film music or game music, or just commercial music, and they are afraid of trying something new, or they are just not interested. So I kind of I'm very happy that several of my students have been weird from the start, and so my work was already much easier. And I really appreciate this when someone tries to break some barriers or just go into the direction that you would not expect for someone to go.
So was your mother also like that? That she encouraged you to whatever leave the comfort zone and try something new and more
Uh,
crazy?
I think she didn't, she never expressed it like this. She never verbalized it like this. She has a very specific language, musical language, that I think is powerful. I mean, she's my favorite composer. What can I say? I'm not objective on this. But she never, she's not the kind of musician who wants to break the rules. She just writes what's in her heart. This sounds very, maybe telenovela, very romantic, but that doesn't mean she's a conventional composer. I think I'm not extremely avant-garde as well, because what I like to do, I like to take advantage of the fact that I can do anything and I can put together really crazy, let's say, extended techniques with melodies or with some influences from pop music or from jazz or rock or with textures. And I think it's very freeing for a composer today that we can do this without being judged, in the most part, because in some places you're still judged for this, but I prefer to write what I want. This is a lesson that my mother taught me, and I also transmitted to my students. I don't take credit for this. I always say that this is what my mother told me. You must write for yourself, because this is the most sincere form of communication, and you must write the music that you would like to hear. And then everything should go smoothly, or less smoothly, but still, and it's going to be authentic.
How would you say is the place or the role of the women composer in Romania? I mean, your mother was very lucky, and as you said, it was also her way to get out of Romania during those communist times. How was it then for you or for the women who now come to compose to you? Is it very normal to compose as a woman in Romania?
Yes. It was also, of course, not always like this. Even my mother, who was born in 51, so she was a student in the 70s, and the composition teacher would say to her face, women must not dare to compose. They must stay at home and produce children and produce food. But it was the wave of women composers was so strong and so big that basically nobody could do anything. And of course, there's still a lot of deeply ingrained misogyny in Romania. Also, taking into account that Romania is a very orthodox country, and this comes with with a big baggage of traditional values and roles. But we are lucky, I think, in this respect, because I know in other countries there are a lot of problem with ignoring women and keeping them, away from the really big projects or festivals. But yeah, in Romania, in some way we are lucky because there's a lot of us, and there are very interesting young women composers as well. I'm very proud to say that one of them is my student, my former student, Irina Perneș, and yeah, it's fine. It's you can deal with bad jokes and with small knives stuck into you, because they can't really do anything. There's a lot of us, and we're very creative, I think.
That's cool. Yeah. I also think you have a very lively scene, and I also admire in Romania or in some of more East European countries that you get such a great foundation in your musical training. Where I think maybe some things are also maybe stricter, but I think you get so much, and that's something you can really build on. And I mean, I also know you have been around a lot and your pieces get performed everywhere. But what do you think is then like special about the music scene in Romania, or the training, or how things develop there compared to whatever other countries you have seen?
Well, I think Romania has a reputation of being more traditional in general, especially now, because we had a very powerful avant-garde wave in the 70s, 80s. Now it's much more traditional, and you see it in the younger generations. Like I already said, there are a lot of young people who are not interested in what's today, they're interested in what was before. But apart from this, and apart from the fact that you kind of have to fight this traditional system, and apart from, well, the lack of funding, because culture in Romania has always been incredibly low funded, and especially contemporary art, and everybody has to fight. And of course, other contemporary arts manage to be more popular or to be more to get more funding because the main characteristic of music is that it's deeply personal. So, you can go to a contemporary art exhibition and you look at it, and if you don't like something, you just turn your head and you see something else. But, if you go to a contemporary music concert, you have to listen to it, and maybe the piece is long and you have to listen to it whole, and maybe it's not good performance. And there are a lot of other factors that keep the music always in the rear guard of contemporary arts. I think not only in Romania, I think maybe in lots of other countries, but we have this funding problem that we have to fight against. But luckily we are several fighters. I think all of us, most of us, are composers. There are also some performers that are fighting. So we have this kind of traditional stigma and the lack of funding, huge problem. What I think is good in Romania, there are two things. There are this not judgmental aesthetic. They're not, people talk to one another, even if one of them is avant-garde and one of them is traditional. And they can be friends and they can share a meal together, which I know for certain that in other centers, in other cultural centers, is not, is verboten, is not applied. What I also think is that Romanian music has, like maybe all countries in Eastern Europe, has the advantage of a very strong traditional music foundation. And I think maybe you will say that you don't agree with me, but I think it's very important that the geographical aspect of a composer is felt in their music. And I don't want to say that we have to write music that sounds traditional because that's world music, or I don't know, something else, or folklore. And I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the core of the traditional music, which can be felt and which gives us, I think, a certain expressivity that is ours. And I think we should fight to preserve this. And of course, there are many other countries that have this. I know that, I'm just going to give an example, composer Toshio Hosokawa, who is one of my absolute favorites. He's just a genius. And I know he was very upset because young Japanese composers want to write in Germany or like in France, and be completely void of what is extremely characteristic of their music, that Japanese superpower that is there. So I think this gives every country a typical color, and I think we should fight to preserve it. So yes, this is Romania for me. Kind of very special expressivity, freedom, acceptance of almost every kind of type of aesthetics. And let's say from the bad parts, complete lack of funding and a strong conventional traditional core that is also something that we have to fight with.
Well, thank you very much. And what are the qualities you most appreciate in the interpreters you work with?
I have to first of all, I have to say that the connection between a composer and a performer, when they are on the same wavelength of thought, is the most magical thing ever. And I have had it with people whom I did not speak the same language. And I worked with someone from Slovenia who didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Slovenian, but it was magical. So, and it's very powerful, and it's very direct, and it's the most intimate form of communication. So, first of all, I'm going to say they have to be open to my music in my case, or to any other composer's music. They have to be to receive that music with very open arms and open soul and open ears, and not treat it like someday I have to do this and I'm going to play the notes and then I'm going to do something else. The second thing that I appreciate a lot, and this maybe is a problem in Romania because there are some people here, but very, very few performers who have this crazy factor, who want to do fun stuff and weird stuff, and who want to push their boundaries, and who should try to find new sounds or dive into crazy music that you don't understand maybe, but you want to understand, and you want to get involved with this. And unfortunately, with some exceptions, performers in Romania are very traditional and very into music until maybe Debussy. After Debussy, everything is dead. But yes, yeah. So courage and openness, I would say, just to make it short. And also, there are lots of performers who have this magical factor on stage, and the magical factor comes from the way that they are incredibly generous and they want to offer that music that they didn't write, but somehow it became theirs. They just want to give it to the audience. I have an example who is not Romanian. It's a flutist that I adore and I work with a bit, Mario Caroli, who lives in Strasbourg, but who is Italian, and he came several times in Romania. And that man goes on the stage, and you are transported from the first sound into another world. And this is, I think, 90%, not because of his technique, who is brilliant, which is brilliant or whatever, but the generosity of wanting to devour this music and then just give it to someone else and create this flux of emotion, of pure emotion. And I think this is something that the really, really great performers have. And also, charisma. I mean, you have to take the audience in your hands and convince them that what you are playing is good if we're talking about contemporary or experimental music. Because if you really like that, or at least, you try to like it, and you are really into that world, your pleasure and your passion will be visible audible to the audience, and they can themselves be seduced by that kind of music. So yeah, that's it.
Yes, it's a very important connection with the interpreters and the composers, because we're so close, and as you say, we can make each other shine. I mean, I can make your music shine, and you can make me shine because your music brings out something in me maybe I didn't know I had or so.
Exactly, that's very beautifully put. Yeah.
And I mean, we know you do a lot. You're composing, you're curating, you're teaching, and probably many other things. And I'm always curious how you get those things done. So do you have any time management, any system, any structure? Are you free floating? How do you get everything done you do?
I'm not a good example because I have very bad time management. So I'm always very stressed. But it's hard to me to give up any of those things, because composing, first of all, it's going to sound very pathetic, but I feel alive when I compose. I feel in my core that it's something that I'm meant to do, and I'm not saying that I'm a good composer. I just say that I'm a very passionate one. Teaching is something that I love, especially when I find people who I connect them and I can transmit the passion. And also curating or organizing things. I'm in the IACM Romanian section, and we organized the Meridian Festival, for example, and lots of other concerts and projects. And this you have to do. And I don't like the process, because I don't like the bureaucracy and making calls and writing emails and getting funding. This is something I'm really not passionate about. But what I am passionate about is the moment when you create that thing and you see the audience that they become alive and they become maybe a bit in love with this type of music. And this is something that, yeah, I cannot give up, because it's that moment, a lot of bad moments, but that final moment is so cool and so inspiring and rewarding that, well, I have to keep doing this. But yes, regarding your question, time management for me is a is a very complicated thing.
How do you go about composing? Do you do it at the same time every day, whatever, every morning, or?
Unfortunately not. I kind of have periods when I compose a lot, and that's all I do. And I have periods when I don't compose at all because I have to do other things. So it's very unorganized. But this is also a thing that composing is very energy consuming, not in the fact that you do something, you stay on a chair and you write. I write by hand, but others write on the computer. But it's very consuming, from an emotional point of view. And so it's very, very hard to manage that, and to compartmentalize, I think I said it correctly, everything that you must do. So I tend to throw myself into composition, or to throw myself into management or teaching or something else, and I try not to mix them. And sometimes I have, because, well, life, but I generally try to have this waves of activities in one direction.
And who or what has played the greatest role in shaping you, and what inspires you?
Well, first of all, my mother, Diana, of course, the absolute boss in my life. I'm very grateful to my composition teachers, who were Ștefan Niculescu, who was a great Romanian composer who exploded in the 80s. A very specific type of language, and a very, very sharp mind, which I adored. I also worked simultaneously with Dan Dediu, who is a really, really cool postmodern composer, and who has also a very sharp mind and huge knowledge, and this type of music that is filled to the brink with not only musical allusions, or sometimes even quotations, or types of writing, but also literature and movies and philosophy and everything else. I'm a huge admirer of my best friend, who is Irina Langel, and who is our most experimental musician performer. And she taught me to get out of my shell and to see the world in a completely different way. And apart from this, I think my main inspirations are the musicians I work with when I find this connection. The last person I'm working with, I have worked with in the past few years, is a pianist, Diana Rotaru from Romania, who is one of the only people who are super passionate about new music, but also others musicians in my past. And at some point, I tried to analyze my magic moments with the performers, and I saw that they're all women, which is very interesting. So it's something with the feminine energy that really speaks to me, and it's a different type of communication. I think it's a different type of sensibility.
Oh, great. And what does success mean for you?
Uh, Success means to have my music played in the way that I want it to be played. And I think that's it. I mean, if your music comes alive, for me, it's enough. And comes alive means also that you have a very good performance, and it's a really the most magical thing a composer can feel. And apart from that, I don't know, the traveling part is very fun. I've never been career oriented in this type of way. I'm not sending my music, frantically, and I don't have anything against the people who do this, who are very, driven, career driven. I don't send my music to, calls or festivals or whatever. I kind of let it happen. And maybe it's not good. I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but it's what I feel I should do. Uh, I'm very sometimes ashamed to be my own manager and try to make things happen. I kind of wait, and um, I a lot of times things do happen because music has this type of magical energy that connects people, and other people do something and some things happen. But yeah, this
Mm.
is success for me, and I'm very proud of my students when they have good results, and not because they have good results, but because I know that this motivates them to push forward and to go on this road that for me, it's a great passion, and I hope it will become a great passion for them as well.
It's great that you can, in my opinion, that you can let things happen, because I learned that in the last years, and in a way, I feel much more comfortable with it. But maybe it's also, like you said, more the feminine energy. And in my younger years, I kind of try to do it like the book says it, and yeah, it was an experience. But now I feel more comfortable and happy and fulfilled, and so I keep continuing this now.
Yes, I think us being fulfilled is the most important part. That's success. And but you are also right, because when you are young, you want to do this, and you kind of have to do this because you have to push your way into the world, and you must go to competition and put yourself out there. But at some point, you can back off and let it happen and just chill and do music.
Yes. And is there anything that drives you forward, or do you have a vision?
Do you mean in composition or in other activities as well?
You
Or
can
just,
answer it any way you want to answer it.
I think, for example, in composition in particular, I want to better myself, and I want to make what's in my head uh, become real in the most truthful and exact, let's say, way possible. And I think, in composition, we never stop learning. So we always educate ourselves, and you find new music and you say, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to try this. And you always, life comes in huge waves upon you, and you have to assimilate it and just, transform and evolve. If you don't do this, you're dead. I mean, you must keep on evolving. And in life, I think, yeah, just keep doing. I want to keep composing. I want to keep making things happen for the composer community, especially the Romanian community, because it's the closest to me, and I kind of feel responsible because I'm in it. And I think it's my responsibility to try to do things and to make other colleagues' music played and performed and programmed and all this. And teaching, of course. And yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing now, but better and better. It's a very stupid answer, I know, but this is, I think I cannot imagine myself doing something else, which maybe is boring. Or maybe I should try to find other things. But right now, I only keep seeing myself doing this and just going on with everything in this
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah, I guess you're at the right place and on the right path, and that's always great when we are there and really feel it and do it no matter what. I mean, it
Yes.
can be hard, we know that. And I really enjoyed talking to you. And my final question is, what tip would you like to give young artists?
Keep your ears open to everything. Keep your eyes open to everything. Listen to all kinds of musics, not only what your teacher tells you to listen or what you know that is considered great music. Just go into the most seedy bars and hear what they're doing there, and go to crazy musics, and go to traditional musics, and go to old and new and whatever, and in every genre as possible. I'm a huge hip hop fan, by the way. And I think this is the most important. And just be passionate about what you are doing, because with this, things will come. Commissions will come. Authentic music will come, because truly passionate people do not pretend to be what they are not. I think this is a danger right now for young composers in particular, because there are a lot of situations where you feel that, oh, I must write in like this for my piece to be performed, or all types of situations, and you should not do that. You should write what you like, and of course join new things, and keep your language updated, but just be yourself. So it's a very silly answer, but yeah, be yourself, and keep your eyes and your ears and your soul open.
Oh, thank you so much. It was
Thank
so
you so
great
much.
talking to you, Diana, and I hope
Great
to see
meeting
you
you.
someday.
Yes, yes. It was very fun.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
This was the interview from today. I hope that it inspired you. And please send me your emails, send me your feedback, because I love to interact with you. Thank you very much that you tuned in with me today. I really, really hope that you liked it. And please tell your friends and colleagues about this podcast. I thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Live your music, live your life, and see you next time. Yours, Irene.